Hello everyone, this is Grace here. In this video, we will be discussing value of supply problems. So it is section 31, calculation of transaction value and GST payable. A dealer in Mysore agreed to supply 10 computer systems to a dealer in Bangalore in the month of August 2020 on the following terms. So they have given us price of each CPU supplied exclusive of GST at 18%. So this amount of 20,000 is not included GST amount. So we can directly take that amount without any calculations. So price of each desktop supplied inclusive of GST at 12%. So there is desktop which is supplied. So this 7,840 as GST in it. So we need to find out without GST how is it. So we will do that calculation. Packing for transportation. So we need to add this transport charges to recipient place charged separately in the invoice. We should add all these expenses. Commission paid to the agent to fix up agreement for sale, late fees charged to buyer for delayed payment, subsidy received from an NGO which was directly linked to the price of goods, subsidy received from government which was directly linked to the price of goods. So these are the expenses. So when we're solving problem, we will understand what should be added and what shouldn't be added. The dealer supplied the following essential items along with the CPU. 10 keypads supplied along with desktops costing rupees 400 each and rate of GST applicable is 12%. So 10 keypads was supplied along with the desktop which was costing 400 each and GST is applicable is 12%. Then 10 mouse supplied along with desktop costing rupees 500 each and rate of GST applicable is 12%. Cost of operating software supplied for all the system is rupees 20,000. GST applicable to software is 5%. Special discounts of rupees 4,000 was given if advance of rupees 1 lakh is paid with order. The buyer has paid the advance with the order. Find the transaction value and GST payable for the month of August 2020. So now let us get into the calculation. Computation of transaction value and GST payable. Price of 10 CPU 20,000. So the cost here is price of each CPU is 20,000. But here what they have told in the question, the dealer in Mysore agreed to supply 10 computers. So if 10 computers are supplied, 10 CPU and 10 desktops should also be supplied. So 20,000 into 10 exclusive of GST. So 2 lakh will be taken directly. So now next as per the question is price of each desktop supplied is 7,840 which has including GST. So we will cross multiply. So for 112% as it is included GST, 100% is for the cost and GST is 12%. So 100 plus 12 will give you 112%. For 112% if it is 7,840 then for 100% how much is it? So you will cross multiply 100 into 7,840 divided by 7,840 divided by 112. So you will get your answer. So that cross multiplication can be done if one desktop is given. But here 10 computers are given, so 10 desktops will be given. So what is the cost of the asset including GST? 7,840. So how many systems? 10. So 10 desktops will be rendered. So 7,840 into 10 will give you 78,400. So 78,400 is the amount including GST, which is for 112%. So for 112%, if it is 78,400, then for 100% how much is it? You can directly find out. So here what is given is first they have shown here 7,840 into 10. They have given 78,400. Then they have minused. They have found out what is the GST value separately and they have minused it. Instead of this, instead of taking 12, we can directly take 100. So 78,400 into 100 divided by 112 will give you 70,000 directly. So this method also can be followed as well as direct method also can be followed. So how you find out profit and cost? Same way, here they have found out the value for GST separately and then they have minus. So instead of that, you can directly find out what is the value of the asset excluding GST. So you can do 78,400 into 100 divided by 112, which is the cross multiplication. So as you all know, it is the cross multiplication. You will be getting 70,000 directly. So here they have used a GST rate 12%. So you have got GST 8,400 is the GST. So out of 78,400, 8,400 is GST. You will minus that, you will get 70,000. Both the ways are right. Next is we will look into the other items. Packing for transportation. So packing for transportation is the expenses what you're supposed to add. So before that they have added subsidies. Yes, subsidies I would have explained it in one of the videos regarding the rules. So rules subsidy received from an NGO which was directly linked to the price of goods. So how much is it? 25,000. So that 25,000 will be considered. So this is a subsidy which is received from NGO. Then there is a subsidy which is received from government which was directly linked to the price of the goods. As I've told, subsidy which is received from the government is not will not be taken into consideration under the for finding out the transaction value. Only subsidies received apart from government, every other subsidies will be taken. So subsidy which is received from government is tax free. So the total value of the asset is 2 lakh plus 70,000 plus 25,000, which will give you 2 lakh 95,000. So this is the price of the computer excluding GST. So now we will add all the expenses. So what are the expenses? Packing 2,000 which we have taken into consideration. Then transportation 4,000, commission paid 4,000. So transportation and commission paid 4,000 is also taken. So commission paid considered to be a part of sale, therefore added. Then we have late fees. So we have late fees charged to a buyer for delayed payment 2,000. Yes, so late fee charged for not making payment within 180 days. So as it is stated that late fees will usually be charged on the payment on if the payment is not paid on the due date. If the payment is the due date is 30 days, if it is crossing 180 days, then the late fees charges will be imposed. So late fees is to be paid, which is late fees is 2,000. Then we have subsidy which we have already taken that. So after taking out all the expenses, uh, we have other expenses like, so if you look into the question, 10 keypads supplied along with the desktops costing rupees 100 400 each, and rate of GST is applicable is 12%. So now keypads are supplied. So 10 keypads. So for each, how much is it? 400. So 400 into 10 will give you 4,000. Then we have mouse. So how much is the mouse? What is the information which is given about the mouse here? Sorry, 1 minute. Yes. So about the mouse, 10 mouses supplied. 10 mouses supplied along with the desktop costing for rupees 500 each, and GST rate is applicable. So how many mouses? 10. What is the rate? 500. So 10 into 500 into 10, which will give you 5,000. Then what are the other items to be included? Cost of operating software supplied for all the system is rupees 20,000, and again GST is applicable. Yes, a software is also to be given along with the computer. Without the software, computer is of no use. So software, how much is it? As per the question, which is 20,000. So we are taking that into consideration. Next, we need to check any other expenses. So special discount 4,000 was given if advance of rupees 1,000 is paid with order. The buyer was paid the advance with the order. So as I've already discussed, any discounts which is given will not be considered. But here it is added because it is not given under normal trade practices. So usually what we do with trade discounts, with the total value of the asset, we will minus trade discounts. It is always a deduction which is to be made. But here this is a special discount which is made on advances. Any discounts which is made on advances will not be considered as deduction. It will be added up to the value of. So this discount will not be considered as deduction. It will be added up. So now let us add this discount along with the other expenses. So how much is this discount which is to be added up? So which is 4,000. So 4,000 will be added up as the special discount. So we have got all the expenses to be added up, and as well as the cost value of the asset. So we will total up it. So 2,95,000 plus 2,000 plus 4,000, 4,000 plus 2,000 and 4,000, 5,000, 20,000 and 4,000. We will be getting 45,000 as your expenses. So with 45,000 we will add 2,95,000, which will give us 3,40,000 is your transaction value. So now as the transaction value is found out, which is 3,40,000, we will impose GST on it. So in the question app they have given any information about what kind of transaction it is. A dealer in Mysore agreed to supply 10 computer system to a dealer in Bangalore. So the trade what has happened, or the supply what has happened, is within the state, that is Karnataka. So when it is within the state, we will impose two kinds of GST, which is CGST and SGST. So 3,40,000 is the total transaction value. 9% of it, the total GST which is to be imposed on it is 18%, because here it is a composite. It is a composite supply which has been made. So as I've told, what is a composite supply? Which is to be supplied along with the goods for the functioning of the primary goods. So now these goods are supplied here. If you look into the what are the goods supplied is CPU. So under this composite supply, we will be considering the supply which was made initially. That percentage will be considered. So what is the supply, primary supply which is made, which is CPU, and what is the rate of it? 18%. So why is it composite supply? Because along with the primary goods, the secondary goods are acting as a supporting goods for the primary. So without CPU, without desktop, a CPU is of no use. In the same way, without keypads and mouse, a computer cannot work, and without a software there is no use of computer. So all these are interrelated, so it is a composite supply. Now, as it is composite supply, we will be taking 18%, that is the value of the primary goods per GST. So now we will charge 18% of it. So 18%, as it is intrastate, CGST and SGST will be charged. So 18 divided by 2, which will give us 9%. So 9% for central and 9% for state. So 3,40,000 into 9% will give us 30,600 for CGST, and for SGST 3,40,000 into 9% will give us 30,600. So what is your total GST payable, which is 56,700. So here there is a note which is given. In this case, supply is considered to be a composite supply. Therefore, it is taxable at 18%, which is applicable to CPU. Second, government subsidy cannot be excluded, but subsidies paid by others would be included in taxable value. So these are the items which we have looked into the problem. So the next problem what we are going to discuss is illustration 33 is the next problem. The following are the services provided by a cargo industry which is registered in the state of Mumbai in the month of August 2020. Compute the amount of GST payable. Transport of goods by rail at 5% GST is rupees 1,50,000. Transport of goods in vessel at rupees 5% at 5% GST of rupees 1 lakh. Transport of goods in a container by rail at 12% GST 50,000. Transport of courier rupees 10,000 at 18%. Transport of agricultural products by rail at rupees 35,000. Transport of passengers by metro which is 45,000. So now let us calculate the GST payable. Computation of GST payable particulars. Here we are going to, as these are the different GSTs which is to be charged. So now we will classify this into CGST and SGST, and as these are different transactions, so we will classify it as CGST and SGST. Particulars, CGST and SGST. So as these are the service which is provided by a cargo industry, so where it carries goods from one place to the other places. So now in the state of Mumbai, first transaction is what? Transport of goods by rail at 5% GST, which is 1,50,000. So transport of goods to rail 1,50,000 into 1,50,000 into 5% into half. Why is it half? Is we are dividing it and distributing it to state and central. So or you can also do it as 2.5 and 2.5 percentage. So 1,50,000 into 5% into R for C for central and for state, which will give us 3,750. So for C as well as for SGST, we will be taking it into consideration. Then transportation of goods in vessel at 5% GST of rupees 1 lakh. So now goods are being transferred in a vessel which is 1 lakh into 5% into R, which is 2,500 and 2,500 for central and state. Next, transportation of goods in a container by rail at 12% on 50,000. So goods are transferred by rail here. So rail is how much? For how much? 50,000. So 50,000 into 12 into, so transport of goods in a container by rail, 50,000 into 12% into half of it, which is 3,000 for both central and state. Then transport of courier, which is 10,000 at 18%. So it will be distributed for C and S. So 10,000 into 18% into half, which is 900 and 900. Then transportation of agricultural products by rail, which is 35,000. So railways goods which are related to agricultural products is tax free. So there is no tax imposed on it. So services provided in relation to agriculture activities are exempted as per GST law. So it is nil. Then transport of passengers by metro, 45,000. So transport of passengers by metro is also tax free. So passengers are moving, so it is also a tax free. So it is tax free nil. So the total CGST and SGST is 10,150 and 10,150. So the next problem what we are going to discuss is, 1 minute. A dealer in Kolkata entered a contract with a supplier in Odisha to deliver a machinery along with essential accessories. From the following information, determine the total amount of GST payable. Particulars: amount, machinery cost excluding taxes, which is 4 lakh, installation expenses charged separately, which is 30,000, packing charges secondary 80,000, design charges paid by the buyer 10,000, cost of material supplied by buyer free of charge 5,000, pre-delivery inspection charges 2,000, loading and handling charges within the factory 5,000. Then cash discounts 5% on price of machinery. Then other information is, bought out accessories supplied along with machinery valued at rupees 10,000, which was necessary for the working of the machinery. These bought out goods are charged for tax at a rate of 5%. GST rate is 18%. Make suitable assumption as are required and provide brief reasons. So here it is a similar problem what we have solved till now. So only thing is whether it is a composite or mixed supply. So looking into this question, machinery cost first is excluding taxes. So as this amount does not include tax, we will directly take machinery cost 4 lakh and we will add up the installation expenses, which is 30,000, packing charges 80,000, design charges 10,000, cost of material supplied by buyer free of charge 5,000, pre-delivery inspection 2,000 and loading charges 5,000. So all the expenses are to be considered. Then we have bought out accessories which is supplied with machinery valued at 10,000. So an accessories which has been bought and which is necessary for the working of the machinery is given. So any asset which is supplied along with the principal goods and it is necessary should be considered in the calculation of GST. So which is 10,000. So the total of it is 1,42,000. So with the machinery cost 4 lakh, we will add up 1,42,000, which will give us the total of 5,42,000. So with this, we will minus the discount which is given in the problem, cash discount 5% on the price of machinery. So what is the price of machinery? 4 lakh into 5% of it is 20,000. So 5,42,000 minus 20,000 will give us the transaction value of 5,22,000. So now here we will decide the GST rate. So here as it is a composite supply, principal GST rate will be applicable. So that is on machinery's cost, what is the GST imposed on it? So what is the GST imposed on it? So as it is given in the question, GST rate is 18%. So we will be taking GST as 18%. So a dealer in Kolkata entered a contract with a supplier in Odisha. So there are two different places where the value, the exchange of goods is being taken. So it is IGST. So IGST is payable 18% on the total transaction value, which is 5,22,000, which will give you 93,960. So the next problem is, Mr. Madan, a dealer, submits the following information in relation to manufacture and selling of water pumps. Compute the transaction value from the following information if IGST at 12%. So now here you have import of raw materials excluding 20%, basic custom duty on import and 12% IGST. Raw materials purchased from Karnataka including CGST at 14% and SGST at 14%, which is 4,81,600. Then subsidy receipt from NGO, which was directly related to the price of goods, which is 11,000. Raw materials from Goa including GST at 5% is 1,000. Penalty levied by Mr. Madan for delayed payment is 1,000. Subsidy received from central government, which was directly linked to the price of the product, is 34,000. Additional incentives paid to the employees 9,000. Warranty and manufacturing charges 40,000. Services received from registered dealer to a manufacturer, a machinery rate of GST applicable to these services 12%. So which is 25,000. Along with the machine, he supplied 3 different necessary components at a fixed price of rupees 40,000 each. So this is a question. So these are the information which was given in the question. So now they have asked us to find out what is the transaction value, and from the following information, if GST is at 12%, is what is the calculation required. So as per the computation of transaction value and GST payable, import of raw materials. So import of raw materials as per the question which is given here is, which is stated in the bracket, excluding 20% basic custom duty on import and 12% IGST. So usually if GST is excluded, fine, but BCD, that is basic custom duty, is the this is the tax which is charged on the import of raw materials. So when a manufacturer is buying a raw material, it includes BCD charges. So you need to know the exact worth of the product including BCD. So as in bracket they have stated, this 4,20,000 import of raw materials is excluding BCD and excluding IGST. So IGST, if it is not imposed, fine, but BCD is the different indirect tax regime which has been imposed. So that should be included in the value of import of raw materials. So for that we need to do cross multiplication. So how are we going to do cross multiplication? Is import of raw materials. So now 4,20,000 is for 100%. Then for 120%, how much is it? So how did we get 120? Is 20% is BCD. Then 4,20,000 is excluding BCD. So for 4,20,000, if it is for 120, 100 plus 20% BCD will give you 120. For 120 I'm sorry, for 120 we need to find out what is the amount. So now for 100%, if it is 4,20,000, then for 120%, how much is it? So including BCD, how much is it? We are finding out. So 120 into 4,20,000 divided by 100 will give you 5,04,000. So this 5,04,000 is including basic custom duty. Next item what we are going to look into is raw materials purchased from Karnataka. So this is the raw materials which is purchased from Karnataka, and they have given the CGST and SGST rate 14%, 14%. So the total is 28%. So it is including CGST. So we need to deduct the GST amount and show the value of raw materials. So please remember, if BCD is excluded, you need to add up BCD, find out the BCD value, including BCD value, and write the answer. When GST is included, you need to exclude that GST and find the write the raw materials or purchased item value. So here 14% CGST and 14% HTST, so totally 28%. So this value is including this 4,81,600 is including GST in it of 828%. Then 100 plus 28%, which will give you 128%. So for 128%, if it is 4,81,600, then for 100%, how much is it? So cross multiply 100 into 4,81,600 divided by 128 will give us 3,76,250. So this is excluding GST amount. Next we will be taking into consideration subsidy which is received from NGO, which is 11,000 we will be accounting. Then we have Raw materials from Goa including GST at 5%. So raw materials are imported from Goa, which is 1000. So raw materials imported from Goa, just check whether it is excluding GST or including GST. It is including GST. So what we are going to do is, as it is including GST, we will minus the GST. So this including GST, how much is it? 1000. So it is a five. How much is the GST rate? 5%. So this 1000 is for 105%. Then for a 105%, if it is 1000, then for 100%, how much is it? So 100 into 1000 divided by 105, which will give us 925. So 925 is the raw materials which is purchased from Goa, excluding GST amount. Then we will take into consideration the penalty levied by Mr. Madan for delayed payment. If the payment is delayed for more than 180 days, 130 days, then 1000 rupees. I'm sorry. Then the delayed payment fine would be imposed. That if the delayed payment is more than is exceeding 180 days, then penalty will be imposed on the late payment. So 1000 rupees will be included in the calculation. So next is, so as per the solution, 1000 rupees is included. So where penalty levied by Mr. Madan is 1000. So next is subsidy receipt from central government, which was directly linked to the price of the product, which is 34,000. So that 34,000 subsidy will not be taken into consideration of calculation, because we have already discussed any subsidy which is given by government will be excluded from the computation of transaction value. Next, additional incentives paid to employees, which is 9,000, will be accounted. So additional incentives paid to employees 9,000. Next, warranty and manufacturing charges 40,000 also will be accounted, 40,000. Then we have services received from registered dealer to manufacture machinery rate of GST applicable to these services 12%. Then the service which is availed from the manufacturer is 25,000. So 25,000, uh, which is received from a registered dealer of manufacturer, and they've given the GST rate at is 12%. So we will include this 25,000 also in the calculation. Next, along with the machine is supplied three different necessary components at fixed price of rupees 40,000. So along with the primary supply, there are also other supplies which is made and which is necessary. If any goods which is supplied along with the primary supply and which is necessary are called as composite supply. So how much is the value? 40,000. So 40,000, additional components 40,000. So what is the explanation given here? Along with the machine is supplied three different necessary components at a fixed price of 40,000 each. So for one component it is 40,000. As they have supplied three components, so 40,000 into 3, which will give us 1,20,000. So all these services are interrelated with the primary product. So we will be taking composite supply rate. So let us look into the primary supply rate. So the primary supply rate which is given here is 12%. So as that is 12%, we will be taking 12% as the GST rate and charge the tax. So transaction value, the total, when we add up all the expenses, we will be getting 10,87,202. So into 12% of it of GST we will be getting 1,30,464. The next problem is illustration 40. Mr. Shekhar, dealer in Delhi, entered into a contract with a supplier in Mysore to deliver machinery along with essential accessories. From the following information, determine the total amount of GST payable. Price of machinery exclusive of GST. So it is excluding GST, which is 6 lakh. We will be taking it directly. Then installation and erection expenses charged separately in invoice. So this will be added with the price of machinery. Packing charges charged separately in invoice 4,000. This will also be added. Then design and engineering charges also will be added. Pre-delivery inspection of 6,000 rupees also will be added. Then rate of GST on machinery 18% is given. Then they have stated cash discount of rupees 25,000 was allowed as per the terms of contract, since full payment was received before dispatch of machinery. So for this discount is availed of 25,000. So this will be taken as deduction. A machine is supplied along with accessories, which is optional. They have given at rupees 10,000, and the rate of duty applicable to these accessories is 28%. So in this, they have given this accessories as optional. And when it is optional, it is called as mixed supply. So when it is necessary for that particular product along with the primary product, then it will be considered as composite supply, as this machinery or accessory which is supplied is optional, and the rate which is at rupees 10,000. So it is a what it is a mixed supply. So now they have asked us, find the GST payable if the rate of GST on principal supply is 18%. So this kind of similar problem we have solved in the previous video. So this is also one of the similar kind of problems. So now let us get into the calculation and understand clearly how it works. So price of machinery 6 lakh. We will add installation charges 46,000 plus packing charges 4,000 plus design and engineering charges 55,000, where we will show it in the calculation 55,000. Then pre-delivery inspection charges, which is 6,000, will be added. Then we have stated the machine is supplied along with accessories of 10,000, so that 10,000 also will be added. So the total 46,000 plus 4,000 plus 55,000 plus 6,000 plus the accessories which is bought and which is optional and which is bought is 10,000. So if you add up everything, you will get up to 1,21,000. So now this 1,21,000 plus 6,000 price of goods, I'm sorry, 6 lakh price of goods will give you 7,21,000. So we need to check any discount is given. Yes, this discount, cash discount, is given when the full settlement is made. This is not any advance settlement, this is full settlement. So as full settlement is made, it will be considered as deduction. If it is discount is availed on advance settlement, then it will be added up. So we will minus cash discount because it is on full settlement. So which is 25,000. So minus 25,000 from 7,21,000, we will be getting 6,96,000 as transaction value. So next is, as it is a mixed supply, because the accessory which is supplied along with the primary goods are optional. So what kind of rate will be taking on? When it is mixed supply, we will be taking the higher GST rate. Which rate is higher, that rate will be applicable. So primary supply rate is 18%, that is principal supply rate is 18%. Now the accessory supply rate is 28%. So which is higher in that? 28%. So we will be taking 28%. So 6,96,000 is the transaction value, into 28% will give us 1,94,880. So it is IGST because Mr. Shekhar, a dealer in Delhi, so he is entered in the contract with a supplier in Mysore, so to deliver machinery. So Delhi and Mysore are two different places, so IGST will be imposed. So it is very important to know whether what kind of GST it is. So IGST directly 28%. So the IGST payable is 1,94,880. Note, in this case, accessories have higher rate 28% than principal supply 18%. Therefore, accessory rate should be considered because this is a mixed supply. In composite supply, you will always be taking the principal supply rate. So if this problem is a composite supply, then principal supply rate is how much? 18%. You will be taking 18%. Next, we have the other problem, which is illustration 41. So from the following details, compute the value of taxable services and GST payable from the month of March 2018. If the rate of CGST is 14% and SGST is 14%, they have given particulars and amount. So here there are two rates, which is SGST and CGST. They have given 14%, 14%. So the overall GST rate will be 28%. So now let us get into the question. Let us read the question. They have given us particulars amount, and under particulars they have given services related to supply of farm labor, services providing to foreign diplomatic mission, aerial advertising, services by way of private tuitions, speed post services, house given on rent for residential purpose, value of free services rendered to friends, certification for exchange control purpose, secretarial auditing, liquidator fees, vacant land used for horticulture, sale of time slot of broadcasting organization. So these are the different services which is provided. So we are supposed to compute the value of taxable services and GST payable for the month of March 2018. So particulars and amount. So the first question is services relating to supply of farm labor, which is 4,50,000. So anything related to agriculture or anything might be a service or it can be a cultivation. Anything related to agriculture will not be included in will not be taxable. So it is exempted, totally exempted for finding out the transaction value. So services relating to supply of farm labor, it is related to agriculture, so it is exempted. So next is services providing to foreign diplomatic mission. So it is for the business purpose, so we will be taking into consideration to find out the transaction value, which is 8 lakh. Then aerial advertising is also for business purpose, so 1,80,000 will be considered. Then services by way of private tuitions. So here private tuitions also is a kind of service come business, which is 1,70,000 will be considered. Speed post services also will be considered, which is 50,000. So house given on rent for residential purpose 2 lakh will be exempted. So I want everyone to understand the exempted list, only then it will be easy for you to solve. So agricultural income and house rent allowance I've already explained in my theoretical videos related these exemptions for house rent and for agricultural goods and services, it is exempted. So this house is for residential purpose, so it is exempted. So value of free services rendered to friends. So value of free services rendered to friends, which is 7,50,000, is taxable. Certification for exchange control purpose is also taxable. Then secretarial auditing, so it is the expense which is spent on auditing, which is also taxable, 25,000. Then liquidators fee is also taxable because it is the fees which is paid for the business related to business activity. So 3 lakh will be taxable. Then vacant land used for horticulture. So this is the land which is used for agricultural purpose. So it is an agricultural activity, so it will be exempted. So we will not be taking 2 lakh. So sale of time slot to broadcasting organization is also taxable. So broadcasting organization is nothing but, so it can be televisions, radios where advertising to be or publicity to be made. So such expenses also is for business purpose, 5 lakhs will be taken. So we have exempted incomes related to agriculture, any kind of services, as well as any rent which is received for residential purpose and agricultural land which is used for agriculture activities. So we have exempted 3 items here, and the total what we have got is 30,25,000. So this is your transaction value. As it is mentioned in the question that CGST and SGST will be charging 14% on 14% on the transaction value. So for central will start for charge 14% on 30,25,000, where they will be getting 4,23,500, and state is also charging 14% on transaction value, which is 30,025 into 14% will give us 4,23,500. So the total GST payable is 4,23,500 plus 4,23,500, which will give us 8,40,000. So the next problem will be illustration 42, which will be discussed in the upcoming videos. So thank you everyone.